Hello and welcome. Welcome to Quilt Conversations Live. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. Hello to Cassie. Hello, Lori. Also, hello, Rochelle. And who else is out there? Who did I miss? Loretta, welcome. So glad that you're here. Kimberly is here as well. Welcome, welcome. Michelle, hello everyone. How are you doing? It is the middle of December already. 2023 is almost complete. Can you believe it? Let me know in the comments. Let us know, did this year go by fast or slow? Tortoise or a hare? Let us know. Tortoise or a hare? How fast did this year go by for you? Did you accomplish most of the quilting or sewing goals that you had for the year? Do you tend to have a long list of goals or is it always a short list? My goals are usually more than I can do in a year. I have to confess, more than I can do in a year's time. Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's nice to chat with everyone. It feels like, so Lori says it's gone by slow. I like the little rabbit. No, fast. Rabbit hair is fast, right? Too fast, says Michelle. Yes, it has gone by fast. I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, but then I realized that this will be the last Quilt Conversations live for 2023. The next time we see each other, if not in person, but will be where? January of 2024. So I thought, why not we recap this year? So I went back through my photos. My photos are kind of my catalog or history of what I've been doing in quilting because I pretty much photograph everything that I do or make a video. What about you? Do you photograph your quilts? Do you record your quilting history? Do you journal? How do you record or remember what you have accomplished? Is it the physical quilt? Is it the project? Is it the tote bag? How do you remember what you have accomplished in quilting and sewing? How do you remember that from one year to the next? Is it with photos? Let's see what you ladies are saying here in the chat. Yes, faster than you would like, Rochelle, but you're ready for the new year. I think I'm ready for the new year as well. I think so. I'm ready as well. The new year always brings a sense of what? Excitement? Is that the right word? Excitement or anticipation of good things to come? That's what I think about. What are the good things that are waiting for me in the new year? What are the good things that I can plan for the new year? Let's see. Michelle records her projects with lots of photos. Hello, Jackie. So glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. So, ladies, if you're on Facebook now, live, you can share a photo of something you've accomplished, you finished this year. I would like to see what you have accomplished, finished this year. So on Facebook, you can post a photo in the chat, in the comment section. I want to see it, and I think the other ladies would love to see it as well. If you're on YouTube, we can't post photos there, but of course, you can go to the Facebook page either now or during the replay and post one of your projects that you finished for the year. That way, not only do you see my projects for the year during this live session, you get a chance to see each other's projects that you finished. post a photo. What do you think? I think that's a good idea. So Cassie says, whenever I complete a quilt, let me put this up, I make a label and include a little blurb about the history. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. It's motivation behind the quilt. I wish I was that disciplined. I need to get better at doing that. I say that every year. Oh, Cassie said she wished she had something that was complete this year. Well, that's okay. It's a work in progress, right? You have some, what, WIPs, works in progress? Yeah. I can't say that I finished a lot of quilts. I did a lot of different projects. I finished one quilt this year, and it's the one behind me. It's the Beautiful Sister quilt. Yes, the Beautiful Sister quilt is one that I finished, which is a natural segue to the beginning of the year. So I went to my photos. I use Google Photos to store my photos. They go from my phone straight to Google Photos, and it gives you a year by year, month by month, day by day um, division of your photo. So I went all the way back in Google Photos to January, and I thought, well, that's going to help me figure out how to share with you what I've done this year. And you know what? What I have accomplished really is not just for me, it has been for you. For those of you who have taken classes with me, those of you that have purchased patterns, those who have joined the Ruler Quilting Challenge. So we actually accomplished this together because I don't do it just for myself. I do it for you. I do it for us. Okay, so, oh, I only made a queen size quilt. I think that's pretty good. Hello, Lucy. Welcome. So she takes photos and labels. Fantastic. That's good. Oh, and Lucy says she'd like to be able to do free motion quilting. Yay! Awesome. Fabulous. So my year began with Bernina. I became a Bernina ambassador. What an exciting time. It's a 18-month commitment. It's been a year so far, and I got a chance to do some amazing things. The video that you're watching right now is when I went to where was it? Dallas, to the Bernina University event. I had a chance to go and visit. They hold classes for Bernina dealers. They have different products. They release new machines. It was an education, to say the least. I loved the opportunity to go and check that out. As a Bernina ambassador, I've had numerous opportunities. I'm one of several people who are ambassadors, and what ends up happening is they find where your zone of genius is, or where you're most happy when it comes to sewing and making, because there's a combination of uh, people who love to do garment sewing, quilt making, all types of sewing. It's not quilting only. So, because I love quilting and I'm a quilt teacher, I was given a machine, a sit down long arm machine, and also a Burnett sewing and embroidery machine. So the Burnett embroidery machine, you know, I love any machine that can do free motion quilting. But on my bucket list has always been to learn about embroidery. How many of you ladies have an embroidery machine or have tried machine embroidery? I love learning new things. But of course, I had to quickly set up the Burnett 79 for free motion quilting. And I wanted to figure out the settings. When you get a new machine, that's the first thing you want to do, is the thing that you love to do. So I quickly learned how to set it up for free motion quilting. So Kimberly says that she finished piecing the beautiful sister. Awesome. She needs to do the backing. Awesome. She let's see what else. All right. Dream Machine 2. Michelle says she loves Bernina's. Yes. Lucy says Dream Machine number 2. Yes. All right. What else would I want to show you? Now, do you know the very first quilt that I quilted with the Q20 sit down machine was the Bernina? The very first thing that I quilted on the Bernina sit down machine was the beautiful sister quilt. So I was excited to get started with this new machine, to figure it out, to learn how to use it. And of course, I fell in love with it quickly. I fell in love with the machine very quickly. I had so much fun quilting with this machine. Of course, I've done a lot more since. But after that, Bernina is a sponsor of many quilt shows. So they have classrooms. When you go to a quilt show, you will take a class that has a machine in it. If there's a machine in the class, that company sponsors the classroom. So I had the privilege of teaching in a Bernina classroom at QuiltCon in Atlanta this year. That was in February. And that's where the beautiful sister quilt behind me debuted for the first time. It was at a booth at QuiltCon. So Creative Lounge and I worked together. I used the fabric that they sell, which is African print fabric, the silhouettes I had designed and had made, and the quilt hung there. But I also taught at QuiltCon. I taught what I love, and that is ruler quilting. So at QuiltCon, I was full faculty, which meant I taught a lot of classes, 6 to be exact. And this is one of the classrooms. Well, the classroom. I stayed in this classroom the whole time. I taught on the sit down long arm women how to ruler quilt, and they had a blast. Ladies, thank you for taking the class. Thank you for joining me for ruler quilting. Again, when I learn and create content for ruler quilting designs, patterns, it's for you, right? It's for you to go to the next level in your quilting journey. And I count it as a privilege and a blessing to be able to go to a major quilt show and teach ruler quilting and to do it on a fantastic machine to boot. I love that show, the QuiltCon show. Now, this is a full picture of what the classroom looked like. QuiltCon is fantastic because when you take a class, you have the machine to yourself. You have the machine, we go through it, I show you how to use it, and then quickly we start quilting. We start making ruler quilting designs. I have one lady that every single time I teach at QuiltCon, I've taught 2 years in a row, she takes all my classes. And my classes usually sell out within the first week. Every class is full, 20 spots full. And I'm very thankful for that. But I think it's because I work very hard to create a simple way to learn ruler quilting. Now, okay, so Lucy says she's accomplished English paper piecing awesome in 2023. That's a wonderful accomplishment. It took you 2 years, and I'm so glad you didn't give up. You reached your goal. Fantastic. Congratulations. Now, I want to ask you, do you attend quilt shows? Do you take classes? Do you prefer in person classes or virtual classes? Do you like to have to go to a retreat where it's multiple days? Do you like 3 hour classes or 6 hour classes? As a teacher, I also often wonder if students really like the 3 hour class, or do they like a 6 hour class? Does it depend on the class? I'd like to know. For ruler quilting, sometimes 3 hours is a short amount of time for me to teach 20 people. 3 hours might seem like a long time, but when you have 20 people on a new machine, it can be challenging. Kimberly says all of the above. All of the above. Oh, okay. Yes, I'm not teaching at QuiltCon in 2024. I did not apply to teach. I took a break. It's a very work intensive process. It takes really a year for me to prepare and create all the samples, to create all the designs, to hire graphic artists. It's a lot of pre work. So I took a break. Rochelle says she completed 13 quilts. Woohoo! Wow. But you feel like you started 20. That's funny. That's awesome. So, Rochelle, I hope you share some of your quilts on the Facebook comment section so everyone can see some of the things that you've accomplished. I would love for you to do that. Yeah, I like 6 hours too, because then if you're learning a new machine, you're learning a new technique, you're learning also pattern stitching, it's a lot to do in 3 hours. It's a lot to process. So glad that you're here. Um, so, anyway, I teach both. My preference is a 6 hour class. So that was QuiltCon, but also designing and making the beautiful sister quilt was basically the one quilt that I made this year. Everything else was smaller samples. So let's look at that a little bit. I love that I was able to not only have it hang at QuiltCon, but also to meet several ladies who purchased the pattern, purchased the fabric from So Creative Lounge, and then, as Kimberly knows, Kimberly was one of the ladies who sought for me to create a workshop specific to the Beautiful Sister quilt. And so they were the beneficiaries of the very first Beautiful Sister workshop. And Kimberly did comment that she has almost finished it. She's finished the top, I think she said. Let me see, let me go back. Yep, there she says, I finished piecing the Beautiful Sister. She just needs to do the back. We had a fun time. I shared a lot of tips, piecing tips, pressing tips in the workshop. So it's not only making the Beautiful Sister quilt, I share a lot of my favorite tips and techniques for speed piecing, for accurate seam allowance. We went through a lot of that, right, Kimberly? We went through a lot of that. And I'm in the middle of making a a online, on demand course. All the video is shot. I just need to do some editing. I need to do some editing. Let's see here. Here we go. So I made a little vertical video, a little tease about that. And so you can see I set up my overhead camera. I show step by step how to stitch the Beautiful Sister block and the rail fence block that completes the quilt. So that's another project that I finished this year. As a quilting teacher, A lot of my time is spent on creating videos and content for classes, whether they're virtual, in person, or videos, right? Think about the amount of time it must take to create videos for a class, to create the samples. So I don't get a lot of time to just make a quilt. That's why I only have one this year so far. But that's okay. Hello, Benita. So glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. Yep. Oh, Michelle, you saw the beautiful sister at QuiltCon. Fabulous. Yay. So Kimberly says during the Beautiful Sister workshop, she learned the scant quarter inch. Yes, awesome. We had a great time. I did. It was fabulous. They took really good care of me. And I thank you, Kimberly, for inviting me to come to your guild. So, what is next? Now, I'm going through my Google Photos to figure out what else happened this year because the year went by so fast. And when it goes by so fast, what we did 6 months ago for some of us can be a distant memory. Awesome. Yeah, you would love to take a virtual class. Fantastic. I did a virtual class for a guild in Houston, the Houston Modern Quilt Guild. It was a very popular class. They loved it. Yep, you can always check my website. If you're new here, welcome, and get information about all of the types of ways I teach. If your guild or your retreat needs a teacher, go check it out, virtual or in person. All right, so podcast. How many of you remember that I did some interviews? Those interviews started in March. And I want to share with you, if you're new, go back to Quilt Conversations Live on the YouTube channel. Look for the playlist that's called podcasts. YouTube calls those podcasts when you do an interview, and they are worth watching the replay. The first one was with Scorpio. He's a fellow Bernina ambassador. He is a garment sewer. He is amazing. We met at an ambassador event in January. We talked. He learned about the beautiful sister quilt. He learned also that I was making fabric. And he's a pattern designer. He's made patterns for McCall's called Know Me Patterns. So he said he would make me a bomber jacket. He made me a bomber jacket from his pattern. And there it is, the beautiful sister bomber jacket. Yes, I was so excited to have him. Go check out the interview. You learn about his history, how he learned to sew, why he started sewing, and how he got connected to start making patterns. Any of us can start at any time. He actually is in the medical field. That was his first area of study, and he took a break and decided he wanted to learn how to sew. So he got a small machine. Then he started taking classes with Mimi G. She's a well known garment sewer who teaches hundreds of people how to sew. She has online classes specifically for clothing, for garments. And that's how he learned. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So, guest number 2, who remembers the guest that I had? Who remembers? Who was the next guest? Do you remember Tina Johnson? I had the pleasure of seeing Tina at QuiltCon, meeting her there. First, we met on social media. I saw her at QuiltCon, which that's another reason why I like to go to quilt shows. We get to see each other in person. Tina loves scraps. She was a fabulous interviewer interviewee, she just talked amazingly about different ways to use scraps. And she has a special ruler that she has created to help manage your scraps and to create beautiful patterns. And I stitched one of her patterns with her ruler using Beautiful Sister fabric. Yes, you remember Tina, right? Oh, hello, Alex. So glad that you're here. Glad that you could catch me live too. Go check out that interview with Tina. She talks about how she has this retreat every twice a year. She gets together. Community is important to her around quilting. She helps new quilters get started. She shows tips about organizing your scraps and showcasing your fabric. She has that special scrap ruler to help you use your scraps and quickly cut them. She also has a YouTube channel, so you can also check her out there. And the name of her YouTube channel and social media is Tenderly Stitched. Tenderly Stitched. Go check out Tina. Watch the interview. It was fantastic. Ah, there she is. Awesome. Hey, Tina. Welcome. So glad that you're here. And I forgot to mention, I went on vacation last month to Houston, where my family is. And guess who lives in Houston? Tina. Tina lives in Houston. So we had dinner and we talked and we talked and we talked and we talked. It was so much fun, Tina. Thank you for giving me so much of your time that day to chat with you. And Tina, what do you think about doing a impromptu poll about that project you and I are thinking about? Do we want to see if our ladies might be interested in that project you and I talked about? What do you think, Tina? Hey, Jacqueline, so glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. Tina, let me know. She's like, awesome idea. Okay, so ladies, my longtime Quilt Conversations live ladies, you have been asking, Dina, when are we going to have a retreat? And I said, really? Do you want a retreat? And many of you said yes. So Tina and I had a conversation. I'm not proficient at putting together a retreat. Tina has expertise in that area. She has done that successfully over the last few years. And so she thought, with her interest in scrap quilting and her ruler and my expertise in quilting, ruler quilting and free motion quilting, that we would take our two talents and put them together to create a retreat. So Kimberly, I couldn't even finish. Kimberly's like, yes. She says, yes. Yes, let's make that poll happen. All right, ladies. Tina and I are going to start planning a retreat. It's most likely going to be on the East Coast. She has ladies who are ready on the East Coast who have been asking for her to come and do a retreat. Oh, thank you, Tina. Cassie says, I'm listening. Good. Awesome, says Jacqueline. Yay. All right. Now, would you be interested in making a quilt and learning how to quilt it using Tina's special scrap quilting methods? Alex says, yes. Awesome. Yes. Michelle says, great idea. I'm putting idea at the end of your great, Michelle. All right. Yay. Awesome. So, Tina and I are going to work on that. Create something special just for you, a retreat that focuses on scrap quilting, Tina's specialty, using her ruler, and then ruler quilting or free motion quilting. We can do both if you want to learn free motion quilting as a beginner and ruler quilting as a beginner. I can do that as well. So Cassie says, I want to learn everything. Awesome. So if you haven't, go to Tenderly Stitched. Go check out her YouTube channel. You'll get more information about what Tina does with scraps and her ruler. You can probably pick it up. Tina, is that true? Your ruler is available now on your website. That way you can start getting ready. Let us know. All right. Now, I failed to mention when I was talking about Scorpio, he also has a YouTube channel. So if you are interested in making the bomber jacket or any of his patterns, he always has a video tutorial on how to make his patterns. Go check out his YouTube channel. Scorpio Knows. All right. He's also on social media. Okay. So awesome. So yes, Tina says you can get her rulers for scrap right now. They're on her website. Go check it out. She has rulers to help you manage your scraps. Go check it out, ladies. Ah, thanks. I love that jacket too. My sister wants one of her own. Yes, she wants one, right? So, who remembers one of the other guests that I had here on the program? Who else? Quick Conversations Live. Who was the other guest? There are two more that I want to feature. So, we've covered garments, a jacket, right? We talked about in that live session about quilted jackets. I want to make a quilted version of the Beautiful Sister jacket. Then we talked about scrap quilting with Tina. And then third, we talked about preserving a quilting legacy with Tangela Irby. She's the author of a book about Gee's Bend quilters. She is part of that heritage, that history. She wrote a book specifically targeted to the youth to get them excited about not only quilting but preserving family legacy and history. We did a reading during the live session. It was fantastic. She talked about her own history with quilting and who taught her. We looked at her first quilts. We talked about why it's important to label quilts, to share the history. And she has actually two books. Pearl is one, and the other is Charles for little boys, right? Because as we know, men do so as well. So it's a fabulous interview. She also has a YouTube channel. She's also on social media. So if you're looking for gifts for those young people, get the Pearl book or the Charles book to introduce them to quilting and to history and why it's always good to ask grandma and grandpa, why do we have this quilt? Who made it? And then you can turn it around and say, well, let's look at the back. Is there a name on it? Is there a blurb, like Cassie said, right? So I love that interview. Go check that out. All right. The last podcast interview. Some of you don't remember, do you? Who we had. I know, like I said, right? 6 months ago, distant memory. But I love that we have replays. You can watch the replay, get more information about each of those quilters, and let me know in the chat. I'm thinking of having more. I had planned to have an interview on the third Friday of the month, every single month for this year. Didn't happen. That was the goal. But next year, I want to add more. Let me know if you're interested in having more interviews here on Quilt Conversations Live. I have one lady in mind. Someone suggested, I don't remember who, it was either Cassie or someone said, if I can interview someone that is a quilter who makes quilted jackets. So I've already purchased a pattern from someone who is a well-known quilter who makes quilted jackets, and I'm thinking about inviting her. Ah, Lori remembers art quilts. Yes, art quilts with Renee Florange Valdez. Amazing art quilter. If you have an opportunity to take a class with her, do it. Do not hesitate. She just finished teaching at the Houston International Quilt Festival last month. She is always teaching or always having her art quilts exhibited in multiple places around the country. So go visit her website, learn about her art quilts and her classes, but also watch the interview. She gave a lot of good tips. Remember those tips, ladies? Okay, great. Thank you, Cassie. So Jacqueline says, yes, she would love more interviews. Awesome. Yes. Oh, you love Renee too. Yes. You took a class from her. Fantastic. Yay. Now, she just released some new greeting cards. So go to her website, check out her class offerings, check out her art quilts where her art is displayed. Watch the interview because you're going to get some great tips for art quilts. Watch the replay. But also, it's important for us to support each other, encourage each other in our endeavors. And when we have a quilt teacher like her, an artist, check out her note cards. If you think her note cards would be something that another quilter would enjoy receiving, you are doing two things at once. You're blessing the artist, helping her to continue to do her work, and then you're giving your quilting friend a beautiful card. So go check her out. All right. Yes, she is wonderful. It was a fabulous interview. I counted it as a privilege to spend time with her here on Quilt Conversations Live and ask her about her art and her history, how she started. And she shared this one story about how she would sit on the floor in front of, I think it was her grandmother's sewing machine, and she would, it was either her grandmother or her mother, and she was a piecer. She was piecing different parts of a project for a company. I don't remember if it was a garment or if it was a bag or something, but she was a piecer. So with each piece, she would earn income. And Renee would sit on behind, right in front of the machine on the floor. As the sewing pieces would come down to the floor, she would trim the pieces in between each other to help her grandmother or her mother. Again, I don't remember exactly which, but you can learn it by watching the video interview. Go watch, go watch. Okay. So I think I'm definitely going to do more interviews because those were really fun, right, ladies? I learned so much, got to know several people, and now I'm going to plan a retreat with Tina. What else? Okay. What else happened? Yes, it is a wonderful story. It is a wonderful story. So, what else happened this year? Again, like I told you, a lot of my time is spent on creating courses and samples. And as a Bernina ambassador, I have certain responsibilities that I have committed to. And one was, and I was very happy to do so and excited to create a ruler quilting challenge. I know Rochelle said that she was going to participate, but that work got in the way. But guess what? If you didn't have time in September when the Ruler Quilting Challenge was released on the Bernina blog, We All Sew, it's still there. You can still participate when you have time. So it was a Ruler Quilting Challenge that used the Bernina Essential Ruler Kit. And it starts off with a straight edge ruler, and it's free. You go to the blog, and I have video tutorials on how to stitch different designs with a straight edge, with a squiggle ruler, with a circle ruler. This is an opportunity for you to take ruler quilting classes with me for free. It's detailed video tutorials on how to stitch with rulers on both a home machine and a sit down long arm. I do it on both. I talk about the tools, I talk about different tips and techniques to get you started. All right, so Rochelle says she plans to work on hers through Christmas while she's off. Yay! My gift to myself. Woohoo! I'm so glad. Yay! And if you go to the blog, do me a favor. Comment. Leave a comment underneath the blog post. There are 5 blog posts. It went for the introduction, and then one for each of the 4 rulers. There are 4 rulers in the kit, and I did 4 blog posts on the We All Sew website. Go check it out. All right. Thumbs up. Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much. Awesome. And then the last thing that I'm very thankful for is the opportunities that I've had. I'm very thankful that I've had opportunities to create ruler quilting courses for you, to teach at quilt shows, to be here on Quilt Conversations Live, to hone my craft, and to learn new things. I'm always learning. I hope you are doing the same. And you're thinking about next year. Someone already said that free motion quilting is one of their goals for 2024. What is a goal that you want to accomplish next year? Let us know in the chat. What do you want to accomplish? It doesn't matter how big or how small. What do you want to accomplish next year? What's on your list? What are you thinking about? Maybe it's not on your list. Maybe you're just thinking about it. Do you want to get better at curve piecing? Do you want to learn ruler quilting? Do you want to finish a project that has been taking you a long time to finish? It's a work in progress, or it's a UFO, it's unfinished, and you just want to get all your UFOs done, or maybe a few of them. Let us know in the chat what you want to finish or next year. What is a goal that you have? Put labels on all my grandmother's quilts. Fabulous. That's a wonderful idea. Absolutely wonderful. Awesome. Beautiful goal for free motion quilting, going from small to big to now even a bigger quilt. That's a wonderful goal. Fantastic. I love that. I have a goal to update my website. It needs work. All the things that I do for videos and stuff. I'm a one-woman show. And so my website needs updating, but I did do a little bit of that this year. Master long arm for Cassie. All right, Lori wants to start and finish her sister's hummingbird quilt and free motion quilted. Good, good. Awesome. Jacqueline's going to have more time because she's going to be semi-retired. Congratulations. Awesome. Did I miss something? Let's see. So one thing that I did this year was redesign some of my quilt patterns. I had an invitation from Benetrex Fabrics to design quilts. And I said, well, would you be interested in me redesigning some of my patterns to create new ones with your new fabric line? So Benetrex Fabric just released some new fabrics in November. And I had the privilege of designing 3 quilts with their new fabric lines. Now, this is one of them. This is a new redesigned quilt. I have a similar pattern on my website, but now I have this one. It's brand new, featuring the new Benetex fabric. If you want to learn more about the new patterns, go to my website, look for shop, and click on patterns, and you can see these new patterns. This is another one. It's a remake of another pattern. You may have noticed it's very similar to the previous. Do you see the similarity? But different fabric. I don't know if you can see the fabric weave on this one. It's a beautiful textured weave. Each quilt features the complete collection of that fabric line. So usually with fabric companies, they would like you to take one fabric collection and feature it in one quilt. So this is another quilt that has been redone, but with a new fabric line. Oh, thank you. Awesome. Thank you. And then here's one of my favorites. This is a completely redesigned. This one is very similar to the original. And let's see. And this one is a departure from the original. This is similar, but this next one is completely different. Check it out. Completely different. I'm excited to make this quilt. I have yet to make it. I want to make it. It's the same dimensions, same quilt blocks, just recolored with their new fabric. And I remember Tina said that in her interview about how she can look at different patterns and think, how can I make this with scrap fabric? And then maybe reinvent it at the same time. Yeah, so bold and colorful. Yes, it is. Bold and colorful. I'm looking forward to making this one. Yes. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. So that's one of my goals for next year, is to make more quilts, to make more time. And that's why I did not sign up for QuiltCon, is because I want more time to actually sew and quilt. Instead of making class samples and class materials and spending hours on the computer, I want to sew. That's my goal for 2024. I want to sew and I want to quilt. Ladies, it has been fun to share with you what I've been up to for this year. I hope that you will share things that you have finished or are working on. If you haven't finished anything, but there's something you want to share on the Facebook page underneath this video, go back to the replay, look for this video so that we can have our own parade, our 2023 parade of photos. Please do that. I would love to see what you are working on and what you finished, right? I hope you will do that. And you can do that up until December 31st, right? So Rochelle is going to be working on projects. So Rochelle, you have some quilts that you're going to work on during your Christmas break. Let us see what you're up to. Fantastic. Ladies, thank you so much for being here for Quilt Conversations Live, not just today, tonight, but all year. Thank you for your encouragement, for your support. I cannot do this without you. I'm thankful you're part of the community. I always want to know how I can help you. We just finished, right? the 10 steps of stress-free machine quilting reclass, masterclass. We talked about that for the last 2 months, and that was to help you get to the next level no matter where you are in your journey, right? So, those of you who are taking my online classes, my on demand classes, whether it's the free motion quilting class, the alphabet course, or it's the 10 step, any of those courses, ladies, get busy. Very few of you, I won't say none, very few of you are handing in assignments. I want to help you. Let me help you. And if you don't need help, let me encourage you. I want to see your wins, the things that you're making. I want to see your progress. I think it makes a difference when we share our work and we are encouraged by others and they say, wow, look at that. It's beautiful. I know I'm encouraged. So I want to do that. And I also have a couple of surprises coming up in the beginning of the year. Now, some of my goals are centered around providing more for you, right? So I've been working on more videos for the alphabet design course. So if you're in the course, know that some updates are coming. I'm going to refresh it, add some new designs, and add some new videos. Okay? That's coming up. And I hope to finish the Beautiful Sister course in January. Keep pushing it up, and I apologize. Those who are waiting for the course, I just have a lot on my plate, but I have not forgotten you. It will happen, okay? Ladies, it's been a wonderful year. Thank you. Thank you. Happy holidays to you too, Kimberly. Thank you, Cassie. Another perfect night. You are welcome, Jacqueline. I'm so glad you could be here. Rochelle, thank you. I saw your email. I did not get a chance to respond, but I will. I'm glad that you received the item I sent you. Lori, thank you for the jam that I enjoyed all year. I'm down to the last jar, the spicy one I mentioned. I have been using it as a cooking source. I've been using it in my different dishes to spice up my sauces. So thank you. Thank you, Lori. Oh, wait, more jam to come. Awesome. Yes, it has been a great year. I'm very thankful. You know, every life has challenges, right? But we can always look at the brighter side, the good things, right? We want to think on those things that are good and lovely, good reports. We want to think about what's true and good in our life, right? All right. Did I get everyone's comments? All right. You are welcome, Michelle. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tina. Awesome. All right. I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Awesome. All right, ladies. Have a wonderful time with your family during the holidays. Stay safe. I will see you for the next Quilt Conversations Live, January 2024. See you then.